Uh-oh. Looks like we are live today. What is today?
Tuesday.
December.
Tuesday.
Well, I know
Tuesday
it's, thank you.
It's
Tuesday, December
the
21st.
winter solstice. Am I saying that right?
Solstice. Oh,
Solstice.
this is the shortest day of the year.
Yes, it is.
Well, it's 24 hours. I mean,
All right, Brandon. It's the shortest day of daylight throughout the year. How about that? Is that better for you?
I was trying to keep you accountable to your accuracy.
Okay.
language precision, it matters.
Pure officiating.
Utah
virtual-
has a varying degree of accuracy. We know this, right?
Yeah, we do.
No.
You know that.
No. Pure officiating virtual study groups. Very
70.
excited today.
Number 70.
Number 70. Yes. Good
70,
point.
baby.
Oh, look at Greg. That's true because it's summertime right now for Greg and everyone in the southern hemisphere.
Oh, good point.
So strange. Yeah. We live on one earth, but then we all experience so many different I guess we experience things in so many different ways. So that's what's really cool about what we do. We're able to connect with everyone. And speaking about connecting with people, we have a special guest today, Mr. Nate Black. He is a referee. He actually kicked us off this bowl season in the Bahamas Bowl last Friday. Nate, welcome to Pure Officiating Virtual Study Groups.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me. It's I'm glad to be done, and now I can sit back and watch everybody else work.
Yes, that is really the cool thing. I guess for me, I know as a football junkie, that's the thing that I miss the most by working. I don't get to watch football. And then I've been watching a whole bunch of football the past couple days. I guess it's Friday. Shoot, it's only been 4 or 5 days since we started bowl season. But yeah, really cool. Really excited. Thank you so much, Nate, for joining us. We're going to look at a couple of plays that from the Bahamas Bowl. Nate is going to help us break them down. And then we're going to get into some end of the half scenario discussions. Corey, Daniel, Brandon, anything before we bring Nate up to the main stage?
Well, it's the most wonderful time of year for multiple reasons. Hope everybody's geared up for the holidays. Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, or whatever it is you celebrate, and just extend our gratitude. You know, Tuta, we've launched the whole Dallas extravaganza, and the response, like always, was overwhelming. We never knew. I mean, we launched it with short notice.
Right.
You know, we just really appreciate everybody coming in on that. For those that were interested, we had to turn people back. You know, it sucks, right? I mean, I would have liked to have basically accepted everybody who was interested in that because it's going to be fun. Right. Arlington Cowboy Stadium. What's it called? AT&T Stadium.
AT&T Stadium. Yeah.
Some of the best. At least they're proclaiming to be some of the best high school football players from around the country coming to Dallas. Certainly, some of the best officials from around the country coming to Dallas. The problem,
not including yourself. You're not including yourself in that.
I'll be there. I didn't say what I was, but anyways, we only have 2 games to work, so we couldn't just bring in 80 officials. You know, we wanted to be cognizant of getting people snaps. So appreciate everybody. Sorry if you didn't make it, but there's going to hopefully be more opportunities coming up.
There it is. All right, Mr. Nate Black. We watched you just destroy, and when I say destroy, I mean in a good way, the Bahamas Bowl. I love watching you work because you always look so comfortable to me when you turn on the microphone to make an announcement, and I just love watching you work. So help us out here. This is the first play that we're looking at. It is an RPS. Run us through it. It's going to loop a bunch of times. Just kind of run us through what you saw, what you processed, and then we'll ask you, I guess, a few questions about this.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting enough, the first foul of the game actually happened to play before this. So you're in a lull from your last game, which had been, I think, 2 weeks prior. So you go right from, you know, a run-of-the-mill false start into like, oh, crap, stuff's really starting to happen now.
Right.
So, you know, I'm thinking down in distance where, you know, they're trying to get something going, but we're pretty quick to get off the tackle just because I can feel the presence on the quarterback. And, you know, there's 2 things I'm evaluating here. One is the contact, and the second's going to be pass fumble, right? So, which if there's not the contact as aggressive as it was to the face mask, I would probably give that a lot more of attention than I did. And I believe my center judge actually blew the play dead as an incomplete pass, which, we could talk about a little bit. But our supervisor in our conference, anytime there's contact to the passer's helmet, we want to be down for an RPS. So from
any contact or any forcible contact,
I would say forcible contact. If it's a glance or he just kind of has his hand up there. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, because Nate, if it was any contact, that would be easier, right?
Yeah,
that would actually make the call easier if it was any contact to the quarterback's helmet, because I've seen this type of play before, and I've seen plays with less contact, with more contact, with his hand sweeping across. Obviously, the defender's goal is to block the pass, and he gets it in the wrong spot, basically. But yeah, I was gonna stop right there with Tuta. It's like, dude, if it's any contact, I want that supervisor because that makes it easy, right? So talk through maybe if you want to go into that a little more, like how is there anything in your mind that you look for to make that contact in this category rise to the level of a foul?
Yeah, so similar to a face mask, right? I'm looking for movement of the helmet. I'm looking for movement of the head. Is it kind of taking his eyes and presence off what he's looking at downfield? All those, I think, play a factor into how aggressive the contact is. And those are indicators for me that I'm looking for. Because sometimes those are hard to see, especially as he steps up in the pocket. We're kind of shifting over a little bit just so we have a better look. And sometimes, a glancing blow from the front, just like a face mask, is hard to pick up. But yeah, I'm looking for anything that's moving the helmet, moving the head, kind of taking him off his target downfield.
Let me ask you, and people sometimes think I'm crazy. Do you use sound as well? Like, did this make a sound? Because this looked like it was pretty forcible contact. Can you hear that kind of hit? Or is that anything that you've ever used in conjunction with your vision to determine forceability of contact to a quarterback?
I don't. A lot of times, you'll have contact followed by crowd reaction, right? Just same thing with a potential targeting. Like you hear a big hit and then you get a crowd reaction. So I wouldn't say I use the sound element as much as the visual, but I think if you're close enough, you maybe you catch a piece of that. But I don't remember hearing any sound, and can't say that I've evaluated any of those types of hits or contact based on sound. So
gotcha. Okay, so you saw this, you saw the action, you said, okay, ooh, that's a foul. At what point in time did the pass fumble come into play? And at what point in time did that enter your mind, and how did you start processing that?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty immediately. I'm immediately, I'm going from evaluating the RPS to evaluating pass fumble, but not as intently as I would if I wasn't already down for RPS, just because from an enforcement standpoint, I'm kind of processing, okay, I have a foul against the quarterback. There's not going to be any type of clean hands action here. So we want to finish the play. I'm not just, writing everything off that happens after that. But I can tell you, and I've looked at this a couple times, that, okay, let's say there's no RPS on this play, right? Let's say it's just, hit to the quarterback's arm, and, we rule what we rule. I'm not sure, based on the cameras that I've looked at on this play, and you guys have the money shots queued up here, that I'm not sure there's IV one way or the other. If it's a forward pass or fumble.
But besides all that, I mean, so that's easy because we all do the same thing of what you're describing. We look at it after, but in the moment, you've got obviously the roughing the passer. What were your thoughts on pass fumble, or were you kind of thankful that the center judge came in pretty strong? Because I know, for me, if I've got this roughing the passer, there will be times that I might know a split second later, oh my gosh, I think I probably didn't process another aspect of this same play as well as I maybe should have, and I know that's tough. I trust me, I know exactly what you're thinking about here, but I'm just wondering, in the moment, what went through your head on the pass fumble? Was it not sure? And then when you saw the center judge, it's like, okay, cool, like good. Somebody's got to call. Because I know I've done that. Or was it like, well, or maybe you thought it was a fumble and then center judge comes in. Like I was curious about that aspect, just being there in the moment, forgetting about the replay angles.
Yeah, so a great point. And I was glad he came in as confident as he did, because as he's blowing the whistle, that's me going, oh crap, pass fumble.
Right.
I need to transition, because I had what I needed there, and I felt pretty clean about the quarterback, clearing him. But when he blew it up, the first question I had was, your result of the play is an incomplete pass. He said yes. I said, okay, I've got RPS. And we kind of went from there. But I liked his assertiveness in blowing it dead. Yeah. Right or wrong, indifferent. He definitely.
And did he have anything to add on the roughing the passer, or was it like almost, the mirror image of what we struggle with as referees is when you got a, contact from around the left of the quarterback. Sometimes that this was probably tough for him to see any detail on the roughing the passer, or did he have any opinion on that?
He did not have an opinion on the roughing the passer.
Okay. So that's actually really good. And I think it's good that we're working this action with two angles. This is kind of the whole idea behind adding the official, to the backfield, right? When we went to crew of 8, is eventually we want to get to the point where we're kind of got tandem responsibilities here, even though traditionally it's always just been the referee's guy, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm okay with him not having an opinion on it. And the other play we're going to queue up, I did ask if he had an opinion on, and we can get to that later. But yeah, my question to him was, what do you have? What's the result of the play? He's like, I result of plays an incomplete pass. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So
Tuta, where did you want to go next? I mean, do you want to talk like announcement or like now add in replay processes, or not really?
Yeah, no, I like the replay issue. I didn't cut out Nate's announcement for us to look at it. But let's just talk about it from the replay perspective. Even if this was a fumble, let's say we make an announcement, rule on the field is an incomplete pass, personal foul, roughing the passer, blah, 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 blah. And replay has indisputable visual evidence that this is a fumble. What they also have is indisputable visual evidence that the offense recovered it. And of course, the play would be dead where the offense recovered it. And it would be, a 2-yard difference in 3rd and 15. So it would be 4th and whatever, or it would be, but then we have the roughing the passer aspect.
Passer anyways.
Yeah. So it's like, if I was an instant replay person, even with indisputable visual evidence that this was a fumble, I don't think it warrants me stopping the game because it would not affect anything. Because let's see, was it a 2-yard gain or 2-yard loss on the fumble recovery?
It would have been a loss.
Loss. So we're going to enforce
it literally is irrelevant.
Totally. Right.
Either way, it's a penalty from the previous spot.
Yes. So, and that is when we have replay officials, those are the things that we have to recognize quickly and be able to process quickly. Because, we can't just think that a replay official is someone who uses their eyes. They have to use their brains and understand penalty enforcements as well to know, okay, well, this is no reason for me to stop this play.
Right.
Why am I going to stop this play?
Now, I want to make sure, and I think, Nate, you'll agree, what we're not saying is we don't want to strive to work the pass fumble aspect, because different things could happen, on the play where maybe somebody does have another angle and we end up with no foul. So now we really do need the pass fumble ruling. We definitely want to strive to always work that as accurately as we can.
Yes.
Understanding how hard this is with multiple aspects in real time. Right. But so this is good. I love the center judge coming in like he did. At least it's a ruling on the field, whatever you think the opinion of that ruling is.
Well, guess what, Brandon? Guys. I think we can go all the way back to VSG, probably 50-something. Week 0, I had a play very similar. It didn't look anything like this, but it was a pass fumble, and it was some RPS type of action on the quarterback. And I only had one piece of it. I had no earthly idea what happened on the other side. The center judge had the other side, and it was really similar to this, where Nate had the RPS, center judge had the pass fumble. We worked together as a team, and we have to be able to work together and trust each other back there in the backfield.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Let's say there's no foul here for RPS. Would you ever reach out to replay and just say, hey, either way, this isn't something we want to stop because we're going to have results of the play is 4th and 15 or 4th and 13?
When would you do that? You would make an announcement and then ask them?
No. So let's say
no foul.
No foul.
Okay.
We just have like we just discussed. We have either results of the play is a fumble recovered by the offense, 4th down, or we have incomplete pass, 4th down.
Mhm.
But you have to turn on the microphone and say something, huh? If you see some action like this, are you not going to say anything?
I'm going to say ruling on the field.
Oh, okay.
Good. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll tell you what, if we end up getting paged on this in that scenario, I wouldn't even honor that.
Okay. That's kind of where I was going.
And that would be as a result of really good chemistry with our replay official, which is always kind of tough in bowl games because we end up working with new people. But it'd be like, no, I mean, this isn't, you're stopping the game for a 2-yard difference, right? 4th and 15 versus 4th and 17 or whatever it was. It looks like that's pretty close.
So Brandon, when you say you wouldn't honor it, because let's do the actual mechanics of this. This play happened. There is no foul for RPS. And we're not even talking about that.
Yeah, just forget about the flag. Forget about the flag.
And the action, the hit to the head. We not saying that didn't happen.
That never
hit him in the chest. So then you turn on the microphone. Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Is 4th down.
Right.
And then we get paged. What are you doing at that point?
So then with our O2O communication systems, which I think all of us now have, certainly in games with instant replay, since that's what we're talking about. I always ask now when I'm not real clear, although I'd be pretty sure what they'd rule, but I'll just say, hey, what are you reviewing? Because maybe they have targeting somewhere else, or they're looking at this for targeting, whatever. And if they say pass fumble, I say, well, no, let's not, because even if you overturn it to fumble, it's really the same result, which is 4th and a mile.
Right.
And so I just say, let's just not review this.
Right.
And we just move on.
Okay. There you go. Because that's that's what I do too. If I don't know what we're reviewing, I always ask, what are we reviewing?
Yes, exactly.
Because one of the reasons is because I don't want to turn on the microphone and not say anything. I don't want to just say the previous play is under review. Well, why are we reviewing the play? That's
right. Because I'm guessing, like Nate said, we're going to make the announcement even before they decide to page. And so that the announcement would be the ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. It's 4th down. And now we know that. I mean, this is in our mind. So we're in process. We're kind of in the flow of this. And then if we get a page here, if they're not looking at something like targeting, or could you even imagine another aspect of this that would be reviewable other than pass fumble or targeting? If it's targeting, of course we're going to go. But if it's pass fumble, then we just got to use, our game awareness, situational awareness, and say, look, I don't think this is a good stoppage because it's either going to be 4th and 15 or 4th and 17 or 18. Right. So let's just move on.
Right.
And hopefully then, we can work through that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's what I was getting at. And in a perfect world, that would never happen. But sometimes I think our guys get caught up in, just locking in on, I think he fumbled that. Like, we should look at it. And when we lose sight of the competitive advantage. But no, great point. And then I agree with just kind of pushing them off on them wanting to stop that.
Now, if this was on the other side of the field, you're in the red zone, potential field goal positioning matters. That's different.
Yep.
Right. Usually 10 yards is the threshold for significant gain in terms of determining what's a competitive impact. So if this thing was fumbled like 10 yards forward, that's probably something we'd want to honor. But knowing that this is like the difference between 2 or 3 yards from an incomplete pass to the immediate recovery, I think we just try to move on without a stoppage here.
I like it.
All right.
And Tuta, our replay official hate me probably right now.
Yes.
They all hate me for saying that, right?
Right. But I think we have to work together as a team and understand that we're just doing what's best for the game.
The replay officials don't want to stop this. The bottom line is it's times where every replay official has stopped the game and they said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." I didn't mean to stop that. This would be one of those examples. So if we could help them through that here, then that's just really good. Like you said, teamwork as a crew to get to the right result, which is not a stoppage, and just keep the game moving.
Right. Okay, and to address one other thing, there were some comments about it. I guess I was going to raise it anyway. So glad people noticed. The headline judge, I would probably not be as aggressive, me personally, as the headline judge is at the bottom. The coach kind of ran in front of him, and he kind of aggressively shoved the coach out the way. I don't think I would be that aggressive. Either step in front of him, or if you feel like you need to drop a flag, drop a flag. But I don't think I would be aggressively pushing a coach out of the way like that. But that's just me personally. Perhaps someone else has other perspective.
I like what he did personally.
You do.
Yeah. I love Corey. Corey comes in.
Well, there you go. Yeah. That's why I was hoping Corey would say something different.
Yeah. Don't step into my office when the play's going on.
Yeah.
He could have earned a flag. So, I don't know what else we want to do here.
Talk about managing the game.
Right.
And I think some coaches would appreciate what he did, and I think some coaches would be offended. I don't know. Maybe he got
some coaches would be filing a lawsuit.
Correct. It's hard because obviously you guys, Nate, didn't have these teams throughout the year, so this is probably new. Maybe you've had them in previous years, whatever, or non-conference games, but certainly you don't have the type of a relationship you have with your conference coaches. So it would be interesting to hear how the headline judge evaluated his actions here.
Yeah, so we did talk about that after the game, and in his defense, I think he initially thought it was a player. He didn't pick it up initially, and then when he turned around and kind of gave the point, he was like, "Oh, maybe could have been a little softer," but he was frustrated, but. Understand, he's trying to get in there and make it happen. But he definitely owned it after the game. He was like, I probably may have been a little aggressive in the get back situation, but
he did not.
Great job not signaling incomplete.
Exactly.
Yes.
Daniel, he did not signal incomplete, which is awesome.
It's huge.
Awesome.
I bet you that coach didn't come within a mile of him the rest of the game, though.
That's probably true. Yeah. All right, Nate, you off to a good start here. Let's see if we can.
I would say so.
Let's see what else we got from Mr. Nate Black. Well, guess what? Number 91. He apparently was your best friend. Here we go later on in the game, third quarter, and he's celebrating. He was happy with his hit. Apparently, he didn't see your flag on the ground. What you got here, Nate?
Oh, same deal. I can see my right tackle's beat, so no, I'm locked in. And for me, whenever I could, and you guys probably evaluate this the same way, but I try to get my eyes on the person who's about to receive the blow, just like a blindside block. I want to see who's going to. It's easier for me to evaluate the hit when I'm watching the person who's not moving. So that's kind of my process, especially somebody that I would consider almost unabated, and I know he gets off the block, but so I'm working it, and it's starting to check the boxes, right? I'm thinking I've got a dip at the head, I've got contact to the head, I've got leading with the crown, and I'm just working through it, and I can also see the ball's out, so I'm down on this, and I see beanbags come out, and I see Steve, he starts whining it, so I'm like, okay, he's got a fumble recovered by the offense. So I stop it, and then, I go to Steven, and this is where, for me, I'll open the 020, and I'll say, I've got targeting with the crown of the helmet. And, I'll get any feedback from the crew if they've got it, and they both kind of just look at me, and they're like, okay. And so just confirming the result of the play is fumble recovered by the offense, and they said yes. Another one that's tough for me when there's targeting against the quarterback is to, especially a play like this, is to not announce it as roughing the passer with targeting. I don't know why I struggle with that, but anytime it's the quarterback, I have to really get myself in check and say, okay, this is just a personal foul with targeting, or just personal foul targeting, excuse me. So
that was a good, really good, like Freudian slip you just had there.
Yeah.
did your, because you announced personal foul targeting. You
Correct.
Didn't announce personal foul with targeting. So
correct.
Let's go into that. Like, what led you?
Wait, Brandon. Before that, I want to go back,
okay.
Nate, because you said you you look at the player that's not moving.
Yeah.
I actually do it differently, and I think Brandon does as well. I bring the defender into the quarterback because I want to see what the defender does to the quarterback instead of what happens to the quarterback.
Okay. For me, I I have found it easier for me to evaluate the hit.
So do you like more detailed than that though, Nate? Do you zero into what? Like the quarterback's head, the ball, the quarterback's hand, the knee? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like there's got to be something. You feel like you're zeroing in on what in the quarterback as because 91's just going to kill this guy, basically,
Yes.
is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
So what are you focusing on?
I would say shoulders and up, because I want to see the ball action with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the head is the priority, but I'm trying to pick up the ball. And this one's tough because he's one of these guys that pumps, so he drops the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm really not worried about pass fumble at this point. You know, I can quickly move up to the top, and that's what I'm looking at.
And I'll just say, so this is good because everybody can use different techniques and experiment with them on the field. It doesn't just apply to the referee position. My thought here is I always kind of know peripherally where the quarterback is, but I don't watch him. I watch this guy come free, and the minute he breaks, and clearly beats this right tackle, I pretty much just watch him and bring him in, which puts me at risk to miss another hit to the quarterback from the other side, quite frankly, which I've been burned by. But I think that I feel like for me anyways, it's better to bring 91 in to see what he's going to do. Does he lower his head? Does he lead with the hands? Does he go, low on his own? Does he get blocked in? All these kind of different things. That's better for me. Yeah. But that's good. That's good to hear your perspective.
Yeah. So it's almost opposite for me. Like I'll pick him up in the peripheral, and I wouldn't say I transition off the quarterback, but when I know, it's that 0 hour where it's contacts being made, that's where I'm trying to process the indicator. So I'm picking it up as it comes in, but I'm mostly relying on the quarterback to let me know, what do we have? What am I evaluating from an indicator standpoint?
So you see, okay, I want to dig into that too.
Yeah,
because I had trouble with a play like this earlier this year. It wasn't a high hit; it was actually a low hit where I didn't process everything well. You see him beat the right tackle. Mm-hmm. Are you expecting a high hit, or are you expecting a big hit? What are you expecting, and how do you determine? Because that's what I like the question Brandon asked. Where are you looking on the quarterback? If you're assuming a high hit, or are you assuming a helmet hit, or what type of hit are you expecting, and how are you looking at the quarterback?
I'm expecting a high hit.
Okay, so why? I'll be honest.
Historically, it's just been their strike zone, right? It's just been trying to dislodge the ball. So I think they're going to start there and work their way up. I'll be honest.
Exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. Don't be ashamed, by the way, we're disagreeing with you.
No,
this is good. This is really good because I know exactly what you're saying in terms of this guy beats him around the edge. He's upright. He's running like a out of what, and he's going to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is focusing to the target and saying so that you don't get caught off guard by where the point of contact is, I think is subconsciously what you're doing.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
So what if he would have dug his helmet into his ribs? Do you feel like you would have been able to pick up that 913 targeting had he lowered the strike zone right at the last minute and dug the helmet right into the ribs?
It's easy for me to say, oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it would have been harder. It definitely would have been harder.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a play that I struggled with earlier this year. We had a defensive end beat the right tackle, and instead of coming high, he was coming low. And I knew he was coming low, and he lunged low towards the quarterback. And you know what I did? I took my eyes off of him, and I got distracted because there was someone coming high from the other side of the quarterback. So I started looking at the quarterback. Well, little did I know his contact was in the upper thigh. It was not in the knee. And mentally, I had already processed that it was going to be a low hit, and I didn't take him into the quarterback. So I missed where the actual contact occurred. And I had a low hit.
What your mind did subconsciously is fill in the gap that you didn't see.
Yes.
You didn't process the contact. Great.
Correct.
So your mind processed, well, guess what? I had him coming in low, so it must have been a low hit.
Exactly.
So Nate is somewhat mitigating that. So it's kind of a risk reward proposition, right?
Right.
Based on what you're going to do. So there's rewards for both sides, or it's not risk reward. What am I trying to say? It's not cost benefit. What the hell am I trying to say? I'm trying to say
I don't know what
something.
you're trying to say. You're from South
But
Dakota, so I don't understand
I don't-
90% of the things
well,
you say.
I am from South Dakota, which is a really cool place to be from, but that has nothing to do with this conversation. What I'm trying to say is you give some and you get some, right? And
Right.
I mean, so we understand what error you made, but we also understand why Nate's doing what he's doing, and
That's
it's
right.
actually to fix the error you made. But
That's
however,
right.
now with my study and training and experience, feel like I'm better off bringing the defender in. But then what I'm giving up is what you mitigated against, which was that other guy coming in from the other side, which
Right.
distracted you. So this is crazy. And this can happen with receivers trying to catch a pass, and there's two defenders in the area. Maybe you're working deep, you're thinking DPI, or you're working process of the catch, and then boom, there's a big hit that could or could not be targeting, but you don't process that. So it's a decision we have to make. The bottom line is we try to see it all, we see nothing. We've got to see something.
Yes.
And so at least we have a process that we're talking about.
Yes.
So another element to evaluating, the blow, that's tough for me is when the quarterback moves outside the pocket. So I think it's easy for me to fixate on who's going to receive it in this position. But let's say he's rolling right, and then we've got a DB or linebacker that's like coming right up his throat.
Downhill.
Yeah. That one's tough for me to evaluate on the quarterback side. And I probably tend to look at the defender a little more in that situation, but
I'm
that's
all on the defender in that. Now
because you're looking for that dip, right? It's a different scenario, but another one that's tough to evaluate.
And like the same would be true on quarterback slides. If I watch the quarterback slide, then I lose all perspective of how the defender comes in and hits him.
Yes.
So I have to evaluate it with any, whether I'm guessing or whatever, right? To increase my odds of accurately, deciding what the foul is. If there's a foul, I have to watch the defender come into a quarterback slide.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Shoot, we saw one last night, Brandon. This is how I know I'm getting better at this. I have all this vast experience at being a referee and seeing these referee type actions. The hit, I don't know if anybody saw the NFL game last night with the Bears and the Vikings, but that quarterback slide, it initially, if you're not a person who's trained to see that, it looks like nothing. It looks like absolutely nothing. Right. But it was clear and obvious, late hit on a sliding quarterback.
Yeah, to the head.
Yeah. So I was so proud of myself for seeing that. I know I was patting myself on the back, but whatever. Anyway, so Nate, all right, we talked about the hit, and then you were going into RPS and targeting. On this play, you decided to only announce targeting. How about talking about what was your decision process on that, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah, so I'm evaluating this from a timing aspect. There's no issue. I have no issue with the timing.
Okay.
Outside the targeting, I don't have an issue with the hit itself.
So you're saying it's not late. You basically are saying it's not a late hit. Okay.
It's not a late hit, and really outside the targeting aspect of it, I don't really have a problem with the hit. Obviously, it's a foul, but let's say it's just shoulder to shoulder. That's just a clean football play. Let's take the targeting out of it. Let's say he just makes contact with his shoulder to shoulder, hits the guy, he fumbles. I don't have a personal foul for that. I would not evaluate that as roughing the passer.
Okay, so compare this play to last play. You had forcible contact to the head of a quarterback on the last play, and you said that's roughing the passer. Is this forcible contact to the head of this passer?
It is. But on the last play, I was evaluating it as he threw a pass. And I know some conferences are different in how they evaluate roughing the passer.
Good discussion point. Good discussion point.
Yeah,
this is really good. I will say our supervisor, unless it's clearly a forward pass or that we evaluate as a forward pass, that we stay away from roughing the pass from those situations.
Okay, good. So everybody's clear. Nate did not evaluate this player receiving the hit as a passer. Now, did you evaluate him as a defenseless player? Let's just go there.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So quarterback looking downfield.
Passing posture. Yes.
Posture. Yeah. Keywords right there.
Oh, this is good. I love this. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, let me ask a question as a non-referee. So based on that, if 91 really picks him up and drives him into the ground, not so egregious that it would be a UNR on a wide receiver 10 yards down the field, but an RPS we've seen called in a lot of different scenarios. Is it accurate, Nate, that in that case, that same philosophy applies for you guys, that you would not have RPS there if he kind of, just drives him a little bit more than he needs to?
Yeah. So let's say he picks him up and, same hit, but instead of just the contact we have, let's say he picks him up and lands on top of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I would probably go with personal foul with targeting.
So not roughing the passer.
Still not roughing the passer. We would evaluate.
But
yes.
There's that magic word, 4-letter word, that not the 4-letter word that we're used to Tuta saying, but with, 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 personal foul with targeting, which means it's a foul. And oh, by the way, we also have targeting that we have to now evaluate purely for the purposes of disqualification, right?
Aha.
So that's interesting. So Nate, you're really what I'm hearing is taking any headshot, basically, if the guy didn't throw the ball, if he didn't throw the ball, this whole concept of a high hit to the quarterback is out, unless it's targeting. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Unless it's targeting, or we just feel it rises to the level of a personal foul.
Okay.
And again, that's a conference philosophy. I know not everybody's in line with that, but I can tell you, if he picks him up, drives him down, but he never throws the ball, our supervisor would like to see personal foul with targeting.
I get it. Situation. So this is why I think it's so important for us to create, and we've done a great job with DPI and OPI and holding, to create categories of fouls. And this is why I think it's important to create categories for roughing the passer. Now, if you don't want to call it roughing the passer because he never passed the ball, I'm fine with that. However, so what our training has been a little bit different. Our training has said, look, if this is a guy in a passing posture and you would deem him defenseless, then really all of the roughing the passer rules still apply, even if he doesn't throw the ball. Whether you want to call it roughing the passer or you just want to call it unnecessary roughness, okay. I think in college we should probably stick with just calling it unnecessary roughness because the passer, the legal forward pass thing is kind of within the rule of roughing the passer. But It's interesting to hear what you've been trained versus, there's some differences. And this is why I think it's important that we continue to have discussions like this, so that not that anybody's right or wrong, it's just that we detect differences so that, we can have discussions and kind of flesh out what should we do. Should this be considered unnecessary roughness with targeting? Because to me, if he would have thrown the ball, this would be roughing the passer due to the hit with his head to the quarterback's helmet. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree. Like if
he would have thrown the ball,
if we didn't rule targeting and he throws the ball, we would want that as roughing the passer.
Right. But your background in terms of how you guys have been trained is different. Basically, it's saying if he doesn't throw the ball, then you almost have to have more of the late category to have it rise to the level to go, unnecessary roughness with targeting is kind of what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
So it's a subtle difference, but it's kind of a big difference, especially in this play. Because if now in games with instant replay, this is automatically going to review. And so if for whatever reason, which we would hope never happens on this play, but if for whatever reason targeting got taken off, like the way you guys are working this, which is the way you're working it, there would be no foul on this play.
Yeah, correct. If they would have picked this up, then it would just simply
result of the play is whatever. And if the defense would have recovered, they would have the ball. Now, if I was working this play, I would have probably almost unfortunately called roughing the passer with targeting, because that's how I've been so ingrained to do it with a quarterback in a passing posture. And that's really not correct by rule, but it's kind of how we've been trained. That's just kind of what would have stuck in my mind. And so if targeting's taken off and the defense recovered this fumble, you and I would have a completely different result. with targeting taken off, which is crazy. And why we all need, I'm not saying you're right or I'm wrong or you're wrong, but we do need to fix some of these. What should it be? What do we want? And I think this is a great play to discuss so that we can all get on the same page. And I don't think we have to solve that here, but it's good to bring these up. What do you think?
It's tough too. Let's say one of your team, let's say that was one of the teams that your conference has been officiating all year, and I interpret that differently. Right. They may be used to getting that roughing the passer call there.
Exactly.
And that's where frustrations, I think, will come in when there's
inconsistencies.
It's just different backgrounds. And And I see both sides of it. And yeah, it's hard for the teams to adjust.
Yeah. And so just to Todd, just what to go live out this categories discussion. In my opinion, if it's a high hit to the quarterback, it's a high hit to the quarterback. Okay. And if you don't want to call it roughing the passer, that's fine. But to me, in a passing posture, it's still a foul. And that's why I would have called this, hopefully I would have called this unnecessary roughness with targeting based on the way I've been trained. And Nate's been trained different, like we said, but because it's in the category of the high hit to the quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't have a very compelling or intelligent way to disagree with you, but I just, and I'm probably the only one who thinks this way. I only see this as a foul because the dude dipped his head. Had he not dipped his head, I literally would not have a foul.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So, Nate, did you have 913 or 914 or both?
I had 913.
So you had 913. So
that's all I would have.
I evaluated this play live as 913. I felt very confident about Crown of the helmet.
Yeah.
And then looking at it after the game, I was like, I got both.
You got both. Right. But in the moment, if you only have 913, then you are more, it's more right. It's more correct to really only call it as targeting, because like if this was to the body, then it really is only targeting.
Correct.
All right.
To me, when I saw the hit to the head of this passing posture quarterback, and I do have him as defenseless, that's why I have 914. That's why I would have gone with both fouls. But if you only had 913 in the moment, you're right to only go with targeting. So this is very complicated, and it'd be really good to have continue to have this discussion. Like I just saw today, we're having a referee conference in April. I hope this play comes up.
Oh yeah, me too.
So if we could talk about another element of it, and Nate, you talked about the center judge winding the clock. What I honestly would prefer is if the center judge slowed down a little bit. Time is not really critical right now. I would rather him officiate rather than immediately killing it just because we had a fumble. We don't know who recovered the ball. So I think it's a little premature really to kill the clock so quickly without there's no pile up, there's no anything. Let's just find the ball. If there's a pile up, then we can maybe kill the clock. But just with a loose ball and then somebody on it, we don't have to kill it and then wind it. We can just
but I guess the argument there, Tuta, would be if time's critical, we want to save those seconds. Now here,
yes, exactly. No, I
100%
100% agree with that.
But to your point, we can always put time back on. So if we say, look, we didn't kill the clock in time on a defensive fumble recovery, well, let's just add 5 seconds. That's easy. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's easy. Whatever your 5 seconds, 4, 3, 6, whatever it would be. That's why Corey comes in all the time with his clock adjustments, which is somewhat annoying, but usually correct. But that's good. I mean, that's why we do that. So I like because he looks a little bit hectic. Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at an official who's not fully processing the play. He's just really reacting really quickly without slowing down, processing everything, and then making a determination. And that's really what we need to do anytime we see action is slow down, process everything, and then make a judgment instead of making a judgment and then processing the rest of the play. Nate, what else?
I think we got all of it.
Covered it all.
One challenge for me on these sometimes is I think there's sometimes a philosophy or a mindset of, I'll be down on this and let replay pick it up. But I really try hard to know what my indicators are.
Good.
And I really push my crew to like, hey, let's just not be down on it. Be able to paint a picture. What did he do? Why do you have targeting?
Yes.
And I think it's made us better. It's just, because this one he starts to wrap. So, if we don't have the dip, it's a harder play to evaluate because he's kind of getting the arms going, which I like.
Yes,
But,
that's what I'm saying. This is really tough because he didn't launch, he didn't thrust, he didn't do any of that. Literally, the only thing he did was dip his head.
Yep.
And you can see it from the reverse end zone.
You can't tell me he didn't attack the quarterback above the shoulders. I mean, he attacks this guy. This is an attack. I mean, give me a break. I mean, all these indicators that we talked about, really, it's attacking and taking aim, and he does. Now if he's a microscopic inch or whatever away from if he just gets his head to the side or he keeps his head up, there's nothing. He's just running through a player with the football,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't have. That's why I'm not.
But he is attacking. He's
with the head. Yes, with the head.
Absolutely, he's attacking the guy to the head and neck area.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know it's not egregious with a launch and all that stuff, but this does meet the qualifications for our element number 2 of targeting, which is attacking.
Oh, absolutely. No, we're not. Yeah, I'm not debating target.
No
yeah, definitely.
And Nate processed that on the field. That's what he told us.
Yes. Well,
but I just don't want people to think just because he has his arms out doesn't mean you can't possibly have an attack.
Oh, absolutely.
It could perhaps lessen the likelihood of it being considered an attack for the purpose of targeting, but he just doesn't get there, in my opinion, on this play. Right. And that's what Nate told us. So.
Exactly. Nate, my man, we certainly appreciate you coming on. We had some of your plays early in the year. I'm sure you saw them. And it was cool really to have you come on and help us dissect the plays. We put Corey and Daniel to sleep. We'll maybe wake them up now with some end of half, but certainly appreciate you coming on and joining us for VSG number 70. All right, Corey, are you up?
Oh yeah, I'm up.
All right, this is your time. Time to shine. Second quarter, 12 seconds left. Team A has 0 timeouts remaining. All we have is a simple catch at the sideline. We ruled the player out of bounds. 6 seconds left. Then we're going to see some views. Brendan, how about we talk first about a philosophy? And I didn't do all of my homework. I did a little bit of my homework, went through the mechanics manual, could not find a philosophy on forward progress versus out of bounds when time is critical versus trying to get out. Do we put him out? Do we not? Let's just talk about that first.
We're talking on-field philosophy.
On-field.
When time is critical.
When time is critical, a player's trying to get out of bounds.
Well,
help me out with that.
Remember, this philosophy word implies doubt.
Yes.
Okay. So if there's doubt of if he's down or if he's out of bounds, if the runner's fighting towards the sideline and we have doubt, we're going to put him out of bounds.
Okay.
We are absolutely going to put him out of bounds. And I think maybe that's what the line judge did here. I know.
This clearly looks like he's out of bounds. If you just live speed really quickly, he's trying to get out. It looks like he's out.
I mean,
good.
Also, I mean, there is an element of double action here. Of course, I've watched the play several times, so that's with one shot. That's fair. But now, here's the thing, though, guys and gals. We don't just want to say he's out of bounds because time is critical and he's fighting towards the sideline. If his knee's down, and we see his knee down before he gets out of bounds, his knee's down, then he's in bounds.
Good.
And we're going to wind our arm. So
that's what I want to clear up.
Yes. I think you guys agree with that, Corey. You agree with that, and Daniel?
100%. 100%.
But let me ask you this, Corey, because we see this reverse angle that would really be showing from the deep wings perspective. Your sideline official is killing it, and you clearly see this dude's knee was down in bounds. How do you handle that? Now because we're in a time critical situation. What are you doing?
Great question.
Man, that's a tough one because
super awkward.
It is awkward. I mean, that's a great adjective for it. It's just awkward because then, I'm questioning his spotting ability, and that's what those line of scrimmage guys are good at. I think, this is since we do have a dead clock. I would say, well, that knee look. Did he get out of bounds before that left knee was down? But then that's just going to create doubt with him, and
right.
I don't know if there's a good way to do. I've never been in that situation. So I don't know how I would handle it.
Yeah, Daniel, I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll piggyback. Go ahead.
Well, I would just say that it would have to be really, really egregious for a deep wing, in my opinion. It don't work either of the positions. Just thinking about officiating in general, for you to come in and do anything with that in a situation like this, because I don't know, man. We got to let guys do their job to a degree, and it would just have to be really like maybe if he goes down now and then rolls out, takes a couple, but something this tight, I would just really struggle if I'm in the deep wing shoes coming in and knowing what to do appropriately here.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. Again, forget about philosophy. If the side judge here, or I guess it would be the field judge first half, if you are Corey, if you are 100%, maybe it needs
that's
to be
not
100,
enough. I don't think 100% right here. You need to go up to 1,000.
It's got to be so very obvious.
How I want it handled, I would be fine if the field judge comes in with a funny whistle, winding his arm, saying, no, he was clearly in bounds. And I just feel like the line judge, depending on the kind of personality, you might have a rough halftime if you get your feelings hurt about that. But if the field judge makes the right call, that's where we want to be as a crew.
But
only if you're 110% sure.
What about this, Brandon? Okay, the field judge is 1,000% sure, and he comes in and does that. But guess what? My line judge is 1,000% sure also.
Well,
so where do we go from there? No, he is out of bounds. I am telling you, he is out of bounds.
We can't sit there and have an argument, obviously, with 6 seconds on the clock.
Right.
But a little visual mechanic, awareness that the line judge is really blocked out. This opens up clearly to the field judge.
Yeah. Agree.
Hopefully the line judge would have enough sense based on reps and preparation and, experience to say, oh my gosh, that knee was blocked out to me. I trust that guy down the field, and again, bowl crews can be different because we're working with different people, but look.
Oh, don't I know it?
So that's where I'm at now. I don't think that would happen.
That's a good point.
I don't think that would happen, but maybe once in every 5 or 10 years.
I think that's really
all right, Brandon. I'll go down this path with you. So let's say the deep wing does come in and says no, that left knee is inbounds, and he then reports to you. We've got to wind this up optically. Yes. How are we going to handle it? Just wind it from the sideline, or
funny whistle? Field judge runs in, kind of into the field, so to speak, winding his arm. I mean, and again, you got to be right. You got to be right. This isn't a case where, you're not. Now, the thing is, if the clock goes to 0 and he was actually out of bounds, it's reviewable and we can put him back. So you're almost at a minimal risk proposition here. But if we're striving to get these plays right on the field, once we put him out, there's really nothing we can do with this. Unless the line of game's involved.
You're stealing the thunder of the next question.
Shoot.
The next place we're going.
I'm sorry. But that's why I think
he's excited.
Field judge, side judge, if you've got this guy in bounds, 100,000%. I'll go to 100,000.
There you go. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Funny whistle. Funny whistle, winding your arm. If you got 0-2-0, you got 0-2-0. He's in bounds. The clock should be running. Something like that. Referee, widen the clock. Get it right.
So it's 6 seconds. So we're not going to do an in progress or anything. Like just wind it up. Let's go.
Absolutely. I mean,
we can't give it in progress, Daniel, because if we do that, then we have to stop everything and then
in progress.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're winding the clock, and I would make the announcement.
While winding it, though, right?
Yes. The ruling on the field is the runner was down in bounds. The clock is running.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, now if we're wrong on that, if the clock goes to 0, there are now replay rules that can come in, and that's another tool. But gosh, let's work the game on the field. I'm not sure this is the one. I'm not sure this is the play where we want to invoke this, right? But 100,000% sure, I guess, is the standard we've created.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh well, never mind. We may be going there next. Sorry.
Because guess what? If we do that, Team A is not going to be kicking the field goal. And this was 3rd down,
Absolutely.
4th down. They can't spike it. They can't kick a field goal. The half is over.
Right.
Okay. But what's?
I know what you're saying.
But the half should be
striving to be exactly.
The half should be.
I'm gonna get mad. We are striving to be accurate.
Hey, settle down.
Okay, sorry. He's making okay.
But yeah, the half should be over. That's the deal.
But now, and the line judge did what he thought was right. He didn't see the knee down in bounds, so he ruled the guy out of bounds because that's exactly what he should have done.
Do. And by the way, to Tutas' first thing, I don't think that philosophy is necessarily, documented anywhere. But I think that's just how we want to. I think we can say consistently that if that doubt exists, we want to put him out of bounds if he's actively trying to get out of bounds.
Correct.
Yes.
I think we're all on board with that.
Yes.
All right, good. Okay. All right. Well, we ain't done yet.
All right.
All of a sudden we get paged.
Uh-oh.
Now what?
Tail greeter? What is that?
What are the
What is that,
reviewable elements of this play?
So the ruling on the field is the runner was down out of bounds.
The rule
that
on
what
the
you're
field is the
saying?
runner is out of bounds.
The runner is out of bounds. We get paged. Well,
This is interesting.
so the only thing we can reverse to involves the line to gain.
Okay, and that's not in question.
That's not in question. The clock didn't run out, so the clock's
Nope.
not reviewable.
Okay, so we can't add time unless the clock goes to 0.
We can't add time. I don't know how we would add time because we ruled them out, so there'd be no time to add.
But guys,
And-
the half should be over.
And we're not changing
Well,
any ruling on the field. If we change a ruling on the field, this is within 5 minutes. I mean, within 2 minutes of the second quarter. So if the ruling on the field is changed, we can
that's
impact the
just it.
clock.
That's
Can't I
exactly the key
review
word.
that he's down in bounds? I can review he's down
that's
in
not
bounds.
sure if there was the line to gain involved, but there's nothing involved. That's the line. There's nothing involved here that's reviewable.
What about the process of the catch? He's going out of bounds. Can we use that as our technical?
We can, but we're not going to change it. So to invoke a 10-second runoff by rule, you have to have a reversal.
Right.
Right.
So let's make sure we all understand that. We can't just put a 10-second runoff on because we
That's
were
right.
wrong.
That's right.
And that's where people don't maybe understand, and I've really questioned myself on this. Maybe that should be the rule, by the way, but it's not. So without a reversal, without changing the ruling, you cannot have a 10-second runoff through the replay process. Said another way, you must change the ruling to have a 10-second runoff. And just the guy being down in bounds is not reviewable. It's not reviewable.
Why is it not reviewable? Because we have Michael Billick is asking the question. He's making a statement. Why is this not reviewable? And Daniel, you explained this very well when we were talking about it the other day. Why is this not reviewable?
Because we've ruled him out of bounds, and so I think the comparison we want to draw, even though it's really not comparable, but it's the principle that makes this the rule is if a player is running down the sideline, right, and he breaks a long one, and we rule him out of bounds at the 20-yard line, and then he ends up getting tackled at the 2. If we ruled him out of bounds at the 20, even though he didn't step out of bounds, right, his foot is clearly in bounds. We have IBE. We can't change that and put him down at the 2. We've ruled him out of bounds, blown our whistle, the play's over. So even though it's not the same thing, it's the same principle that we've ruled him down out of bounds. We can't now put him in bounds.
So we can't put a player back in with review, and we can't put a player who's on the ground, and we can't pick him back up with review as well.
Well, we could. No, that's not true. If the clock if we ruled him inbounds and the clock expires to 0. And he actually was out of bounds. Yes, we can put him out of bounds and reset the clock to the point at which he was out of bounds. But you can't do it the other way unless we ruled a first down and replay has indisputable video evidence that he was down short, inbounds, short of the line to gain. Then now we've changed something that's reviewable by rule. And I'll say this should be looked at by the competition committee, because this probably should be reviewable. Today it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the announcers on the game were very confused about what was going on, rightfully so, because we're seeing a player whose knee is down, and we can see his knee is clearly down in bounds.
I got to look up what's 12-3-7. Don is a replay official. What's
that's the egregious error?
No.
So
we're not there. We're in the second quarter.
Hang on a second. Go ahead. Play 158 in the case book is very similar. It talks about a runner in or out of bounds.
Okay.
And there is one exception. There's only one exception that says if this occurs at the end of a one-score game, the replay official should apply Rule 12-3.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Great
stuff. So egregious could apply at the end within a one-score game. This is in the first half. It's out.
Yep.
It's out. Right. And then 12-3-3C, I assume that is like ball live, should have been dead or something like that. That's not
Okay,
what
so
we're
here's the deal. This is what Corey's saying. This game now
Great
is
distinction.
24-22. This is the fourth quarter. This exact play happens. Replay
44-42.
24-22.
Oh, 24-22.
Team B is ahead 24-22. And
And
obviously
now
field
A
goal-
gets to kick a field goal.
and now A gets to kick a field goal. Well, the instant replay process
reviewable.
should
Yeah.
make this reviewable and say,
But only
no,
only under the egregious clause.
correct.
It's
Correct.
not because he was down. It's just because it's egregious and it's competitive.
Correct.
This isn't. I mean, it is, but it's not. You know, it's just not. So we've got to be careful. And I agree that this is. I mean, it should be. It really kind of should be near the end of the half. I don't disagree with that. But here today, whatever date this is. Oh, I know what date it is. December 21st, 2021.
Tuesday.
Not reviewable.
Okay. So we're clear on that.
Which is why I so think that the field judge, if he has him in bounds, simply come up and wind the clock. If the field judge is wrong, which I wouldn't expect him to be here, then and the clock does expire and he was in fact out of bounds, guess what? It's reviewable.
That's right.
I mean,
You know,
from a deep wing perspective, we should be watching this because this is the process of the catch, and there's no reason we shouldn't
Exactly.
have see
Yeah.
that. So now it's just a matter of having the cojones and the wherewithal to think, man, I got to go overrule my line of scrimmage guy or gal who does this 180 times a game, and I got to come wind the clock on this. That's
And so do you though. I mean, you work the sideline. You know,
right. I understand that, but yeah.
I mean, you work double action. This is really a double action play, quite
Yeah.
frankly. You know, and I like I love how you said process of the catch, right? Because if you would know that certainly if the ball's if it's incomplete, your line of scrimmage guy is working catch. But
Right.
you have it incomplete. Maybe he's attempting to reach, but the ball's out before he does complete that reach. You're going to come in waving that off and change
Right.
his ruling there.
Yeah,
What's the difference?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
you know,
It's just
another aspect
it's-
to the game.
yeah.
It's just not normal.
Right, true. It's just very, very unique. All right, I'm going to do it. One of these days, I'll do it. Tell Andy Warner to watch.
Daniel, it took us hours to convince Tuta of this, and I think the folks in the chat
No,
are-
it did
are
not.
It
they're
did.
not.
Okay,
It did.
Brandon. All right. Now you
I
just
think the folks,
editorialize. You just
the
making
folks
stuff
in the
up.
chat are a little bit not
They're
with
not
us
getting
here
there.
either. No,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I mean, this is really good. This is really good to think about. So, egregious clause is at the end of the game. when the
One
score's
score. End of a
competitive.
one score game.
That's a great
Yeah.
distinction. I love that.
Yes.
That was really
Yes.
nice. I'm glad that came up.
Yes. So all of that, everything's on the table in that case, but that just isn't this. So just remember what is replay? What is the purpose of replay, right? I mean, the purpose of replay is to fix obvious errors. Okay, and you could argue this is, but that are, significantly competitive to the game. And I would never tell a coach this isn't significantly competitive. And that's not the threshold we use, but the rules just aren't there yet with fixing every little thing in replay. And we can all agree or disagree and have our opinions, but the rules are the rules. And at the end of the first half, this isn't reviewable.
Okay. So did we have enough end of half crap, or we need more?
Always more.
Okay, let's see if we can get more then. Okay, let's see if we can get more then. Let me pause that. Let me bust one of these numbers.
Oh, I was going to go into song or what?
Hold on.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
screen share.
Oh, he's
Uh-oh.
screen sharing.
Oh, geez.
You didn't tell me
Crystal
that.
clear HD.
So this happens to be the same game. We want to talk about end of half. This is what we really need to be practicing on. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh.
If anybody who hasn't
Seriously.
worked their game yet, just start practicing on these. I mean, golly. Whew. All right, here we go. End of half. We see the score is, well, first of all, it's 47. As soon as they move this out the way, 47-41. It is a one-score game. Team A has 0 timeouts remaining. We are under a minute. Everybody probably has their own processes on their crews of under 1, under 2, all this other crap, but make sure we understand what that means. Make sure we understand right now, if Team B commits a foul that stops the clock, Team A has the option to start it on the snap, right? Because we're under 2 minutes by rule, and then we can use the 3-4-3.
Favorite rule.
Yeah. We also know about helmets off. We know about injuries. We know all of this stuff comes into play right now. It's a lot to really process, and if we don't get a chance to practice it,
And
whatever.
who do you delegate that responsibility to on your crew?
Nobody.
Thank you.
I
Move on. It's everybody. I just cannot stand. He's our under 2 guy.
I
Get
know.
out of here with that.
Right.
That is so old school. I'm sorry. That is just. There's just no way that sets us up for success. We're all
Right.
experts, at least strive.
Right. All right, here we go. 56 seconds left. This is 3rd and 5. All right. Team A clearly gets beyond the line to gain. Ball is dead in the middle of the field. Brandon, we talk about one ball mechanics all the time. You know, we've had conversations here. Do you want the umpire spotting this? Do you want the center judge spotting this? Do you care?
Nope. I don't want that. Okay,
you
I don't want
this.
I don't want the ball relay.
You don't want 2 touches.
I think we've seen this kind of not work out so well in the past. So whoever gets the ball spotted is the standard.
So you're not telling the umpire to dodge this ball and say, "Oh no, I can't touch it. Only the center judge can touch it." Because the player clearly just threw it to the umpire. So you want the umpire to catch it, but then you want him to spot it too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. And by the way, it is a first down. We have time.
We have time.
But if we bobble that exchange, we are now going to really our credibility is going to be just out of, it's going to be declined.
Yeah, because we can't, man. It doesn't look like we can manage
you can't even
1 minute drill.
If the ball's rolling on the ground in this situation and everybody's hustling to the line, because the clock is going to start eventually.
Yep.
Let's get one person with the ball, and that one person puts the ball down. That's what one ball mechanics means to me.
Okay. Corey, you had something?
No, I was just going to say, I was going to echo exactly what Brandon just said.
Okay.
While we do have time, you don't want that. You just bring that variable into play that you don't need it. So let's take care of it.
All right, good. So now we got the ball on the ground. We see the center judge is sitting here holding, and the clock is running. What the H is going on now?
Yeah. So this communicates either the officials aren't in position. That's possible. It's possible. Although it looks like we're okay.
Yep.
It communicates the offense subbed, which absolutely didn't happen.
Whoa.
Did they sub?
Go ahead, keep your train of thought, but ignore that. Scratch your last thought, but keep going to your next.
Well, but with the center judge here, I'm just saying that's what we're communicating, right? Either we're holding to get officials into position,
right,
or the offense subbed.
Okay. Now here's a very interesting scenario that I would love to hear your perspective on.
Okay.
Because we're going to watch at the bottom of the screen. Here's the dude setting the ball. Look at the bottom. Here's number 0 who just ran onto the field. And I can confirm he did not play the last play. I have no idea why this team would sub right here.
Well, that's a sub.
I know it's a sub. Now what? How are we going to handle it? Because we can't not wind this clock. We've talked about holding the wind until 32 or if the ball gets snapped.
Yes.
We also have to work the substitution mechanics. What are we going to do here? How are we going to determine how long to work the substitution mechanics? Because Team B is clearly not trying to match.
Correct. Okay. But Team A bought it. Team A bought a delay here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely did. And we got to wind this clock up at some point in time.
Yep. So I think right here, I'm looking and I'm going to be out in the Iron Cross if indeed that was a substitution, which it sounds like it was. Okay. So now right about, I would say 32 on the play clock, I would wind. I'd probably still be in subs. Right. So I'd have one arm out with one arm winding. It looks kind of funny, but it's kind of what we do. Be looking over at the defense, and if there is nothing, they're giving us nothing that they're going to match up, I'm pretty much just going to point the center judge off and let's go.
And it's probably going to be a quicker defensive sub mechanics than normal, right?
Yes.
Okay. So winding this clock, I think the referee here wound it probably around 38. I think that's pretty quick.
That was pretty quick.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Brandon, are in Tuta? Are you guys looking at the play clock, or is it a feel? Because the play clock does start pretty late here. Still agree with the point that we're making, but are you looking for a specific number of 32,
Yes.
or are you just kind of feeling?
I'm using the play clock, especially when we're in this, especially when we're in this scenario. But
Gotcha.
And I understand the people that say I want to have a feel. I'll just say this: my feel is probably not going to be the same as people who claim to be a lot more of an expert in this game than me, meaning coaches, and they are, by the way. So if I know that I didn't wind the clock until 32, that's fact.
Right.
So I mean, okay, because again, like the play clock starts late here, but that's okay. We're still going to use that 32 benchmark.
Right. Yeah. So then you're saying the play clock should be going right now. And it hasn't started yet.
We still haven't started the play clock, and we've already got the ball down.
You're right. That is a very long time.
It's pretty slow. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was the whole game. I don't know. Right. I don't remember paying attention to the play clock when I was watching, but just watching this now.
I'm fine. Look, here's the thing. These timeouts, these are like officials' timeouts, right? When the teammate gets a first down, it's an official's timeout. Really, I think by definition it is. And there's no defined time of what those officials' timeouts are. Really, what we've evolved to, in my opinion, you guys push back, is those officials' timeouts are on a spectrum, which is correlated perfectly to the game situation. And so, look, if you sub here, yes, there's going to be a delay, but the official's timeout in this situation is going to be a little bit longer because the game situation is where time is critical. When it's 13 minutes to go in the first quarter, time is not critical. The official's timeout for a first down is going to be a lot shorter.
Yes.
So absent any exact reference of how long that official's timeout after a first down should be, all we're left to do is go along with the culture of the game, which is, let's just take a little bit and be a little bit more deliberate when time is critical near the end of a half. That's why I use 32, 30, 28, depending on the situation. If it's a pass out to the boundary, that's why I use the play clock, because it's a good and more consistent gauge in these situations.
So you just gave me you just made a mention of something, Brandon. This is a play up the middle.
Yeah.
Is 32 still your standard for plays that are dead up the middle? And really, we're just gonna put the ball right back there. Still okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. 32 is a very good standard based on data for any. And look, we're gonna get this ball down way faster than 32, and I get that.
Right.
But again, here, this official's timeout is just going to be extended a little bit longer because of the game situation. Clock is critical. Officials are in position. Okay. Oh my gosh. Now we got a sub. Going to give the defense the opportunity to match up. If they don't show me anything, then I'm just going to wind it at 32. Defense is not doing anything. Point the center judge off, and then let's play.
Right.
Okay.
Man, you would think that these teams. Well, I know we have teams in the conference that we work that play these games. Yep. If we were in these sub mechanics, they would immediately run some fat dude on.
No running.
The slowest guy possible. To
some big boned.
Yes. And he's going to wait all the way till he gets to the nose guard, and he's going to tap him and say, "Oh, you're out." And he's going to say, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And then he's going to slowly get up.
The replaced player is going to be saying, "Who? Me?"
Right.
Wait. Oh, okay. I will now start the process of getting off the field.
Right. So, I mean, this team, if you sub with no timeouts remaining on a first down in bounds, you are at serious risk of losing all kind of time off the clock.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's why the center judge was over the ball. That's
correct.
Okay, good.
Correct. Good. Which was really odd. Watching live, we can't catch all this stuff live.
You don't have it.
Because I'm like, why in the world is the center judge over the ball? Why is the clock running? Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so nice. All right, let's keep going. We got a catch. This did not reach the line to gain. Clock is running at the top of the field. We're going to look at number 11, A11. Oh boy, he's down.
He's hurt.
We got two officials killing the clock. What does this mean?
Come on, A11.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is really an injury timeout.
Yep.
Okay, so we got to stop the game. Injury timeout. We are under 1 minute left. The clock was running. There's no other reason that we stopped the clock. That means what for Team A?
10-second runoff.
10-second runoff.
It means very technically Team B has the option.
The option.
Which of course,
Yeah.
they're going to take. And then, okay, Team A can take a timeout, except
They don't have
they
any
don't,
timeouts.
they don't have any timeouts. So we're not even going to go through those gymnastics. Are you too, Ty? I mean, we're pretty much just going to announce this as a 10-second runoff.
It's a 10-second runoff.
Reset it
come
to
on.
17. Clock's going to start on the ready. And then I think best practice in our standard that we want to reach here is that we go communicate to the coach and the quarterback in the white jersey in this case that, look, once we get everything rolling here, the clock is going to start after I blow my whistle.
Correct. I would look the quarterback in the eye and tell him the clock is going to start when I blow the whistle.
Yeah.
And make sure he understands that. Now, Brandon, I may ask Team B if they want the 10-second runoff in this situation, simply because we're now at the 10-yard line. What if they score? What if Team A scores on the next play? Well, then they may want them 10 seconds back.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
I think that's good. I think that's
Yeah.
good. I think we should, whether you as the referee or actually the expectation should be like Corey would probably be over there
Correct.
asking him,
Correct.
on Team B's sideline. That's really good. And you communicate that.
Yes, I will have them ask, and we obviously we know there's no timeout. So if they want it, cool. We can, and the player's hurt, so we have time to do all this without stopping
That's
the
right.
game. And
That's right.
and, we have time to really go through this administrative procedure, efficiently enough without impacting the game flow.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Do we got time for a what if on this one?
yeah, let's go, Corey. Absolutely.
What if the 10-yard line, that was the line to gain, and we mark it short, but during the injury timeout, replay pages us and has evidence that we have a first down.
Good.
Then what happens to the clock?
Good.
I don't know if I'm gonna be right, Brandon. What you going?
I was going to let you go.
Okay, well, I'll go. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I would not do a 10-second runoff. I don't even know if that's supported by the rule or not, but I would not do a 10-second runoff for
No way.
because we screwed
Yep.
we screwed up. We screwed
No
up.
way. No,
Yeah.
absolutely no 10-second run. Not only would
Yep.
you not, you would be wrong if you did, because really when we reverse to a first down, now by rule the clock stopped as a result of the play.
Yep.
Yeah. So now
Well, it should have stopped as a
I
result
know.
of play, but
Yes.
it didn't. Yeah.
I know. But if everything was officiated correctly, it did. Not only that, we would reset the clock.
Yep, we put time back. on.
Exactly. And guess
Under
what
5
that
minutes.
was? Guess what that was? That was like 38 seconds.
Correct. So that's why there would absolutely, and Daniel said it, it's not pure. They stole that
Boom.
from pure officiating, I guess. But it wasn't a pure injury situation, which means you can't have a 10-second runoff, period.
Good. Okay, so let's just to recap. So what Corey is saying here
Good what
is the 10-yard line is the line to gain. This dude clearly is beyond the 10-yard line. Okay, and then we end up marking him at the 10.5-yard line and keeping the clock running. What we're saying now is even with his injury, even though it's a late injury, even though the time had run off the clock, if replay pages us and we say, wait a minute, the line to gain was actually reached, then we are not going to go into the 10-second runoff mechanics. And furthermore, we're going to reset this clock to where the ball was dead, which was 38 seconds, as we can see right here. Well, 37 seconds. The kid is down with 37.
That's if the line to gain was reached. So, and look,
If the
we're
line
not
to gain
saying
was reached.
the center judge did anything wrong.
No.
The center
no.
judge did his job. This is one ball mechanics in its finest form. He grabs the ball. There is a little bit of a relay, but that's okay. This is fine. That relay is fine because we got to get the ball into him.
That's right.
And the player needs to be coached to actually give it to the official on the inside, not the outside, which we're seeing a lot more of. So let's be heads up to that.
Right.
However, I'm fine with what the center judge did. Get the ball down in the zip code and get out of there because they're
right.
going to try to, you're processing this is short, which is fine. So just
Right.
get it down, get out, let them snap it.
Right.
That's a good job. Now, of course, we have all this other stuff going on.
Right. All right. Okay, so I think this dude's name is Rocky, if I'm not mistaken, the quarterback. Rocky, when I blow this whistle, the clock is going to start.
So
he
now we're
needs
back to the
understand
10-second runoff
that.
scenario.
We're back. Yeah, we're still. Well, it's not scenario. It's literally what happened here.
Okay, so we did run 10. Okay, good.
We ran 10.
Good.
All right. See, we had 17 seconds now, and the
Nice.
clock is going to start on the referee's signal.
Yep.
All right, we're not done yet.
Uh-oh.
No. Is right.
Yes, Mr. Foreman, clock will start on the ready for play, even if replay reverses to a first down. Yep, that's a good question. How did the ball get all the way up there?
I skipped the play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I skipped the play.
Okay, so now, okay, gotcha.
I mean, it was a nothing play. It was a pass to the outside.
Apparently.
Dude caught the ball.
Oh, and nothing play. We know about those.
Okay, so now what are we doing?
Okay. 7 seconds left. Again, still one score game. Team A has no timeouts remaining. Oh boy.
Okay,
Oh.
the ball's on the ground, and
Okay.
yeah, this is what we all need to be ready for right here.
Yes. So first of all, what I want to do is commend the scrimmage official at the top. You know how we like to just run to the. Sometimes people just freak out and run to the goal line. Well, first of all, it's the 8-yard line. So we're not even in those mechanics. But even if we were, look, stop at the next line, especially on 4th down. If the next line is more important than the goal line. That line to gain. So stop there, and then you can work your way to the goal line. Anyway, so now we have catch. Maybe we have fumble. Maybe we have inbounds. Maybe we have out of bounds. Maybe there's a lot to determine on this play. So let's talk about that.
Well, there is one person in the world that everything depends on right now, and he's got a big H on his back.
That's right.
Because his decision making is going to be key in terms of what happens next.
Okay, so it looks like what he's ruling is a catch, and the player was down in bounds because he killed the clock, and he's spotting the ball. So, and he's saying we're going to wind the clock up. Looks like he's communicating with the referee.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like what he's ruling is catch, inbounds, first down.
Okay.
Fine. So we're going to wind the clock up. Okay,
So
so the judge puts the ball down. The clock is running, and what ends up happening is clock goes to 0, game is over.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Whoops, I went all the way to the beginning of the video again. Okay, let's talk about this all the way from the beginning with the communication. How are we going to communicate this? How should the headline judge communicate to the referee what the status is?
Well, and I said he's the only one. I do think the side judge, if the side judge is working the process of the catch, Corey, you could come in and waive this off if you felt it was incomplete.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So that's a good point. If absent that, I don't really see anything from the side judge here. Don't you agree? All the movement is from the line of scrimmage official.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So this is what we want. I mean, this is really, if we're going to kill the play and mark him down inbounds for a first down, then we know the clock's going to start in the ready. I think that's what we're communicating here. And we do want to give a very prominent visual signal, right? He kind of started and then he kind of stopped and then he kind of did it. And see that finger twirl thing that we're doing?
Yeah.
That's good. I think that's really, really good. Don't you? I mean, would you like to see anything else right now from him?
Well, it looks like he's pressing his O2O button too. So if we're using the O2O, we have to communicate that because everybody, guess what? We talked about this on another play earlier. Team A is at the bottom of the field. Team A is not at the top of the field. So the coach for Team A may think that they have another play coming or that the clock is going to be dead out of bounds. He may not know that we're going to wind it up. So this communication is really important. I am not honestly sure what is the best way to communicate that to the opposing coach that, look, coach, we're about to wind this up. It's only 2 seconds.
Well,
what I
would hope this is easier said than done, as you know. As a referee, I'm hoping to get to the quarterback quickly and say, the clock is going to run once the ball's ready.
Yes.
The clock is going to run once the ball is ready. Get your team up and snap it.
Yeah.
Do you want, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys want the opposite line of scrimmage who is over here on Team A's sideline? Do you want him giving anything to the coach in terms of a signal? I mean, verbal is okay, but gosh, we're at the 4-yard line, so the coach is at the 20 at best.
Well, here's the danger in him giving, let's say he gives a wind the clock signal.
And
The danger is a lot of times in pregame, the head line judge and the side judge, when they talk to the clock operator, they'll say, when the line judge and the side judge talks to the clock operator, they'll say, if the referee doesn't wind the clock, use us as a backup.
Oh.
If you see me wind the clock, then you wind the clock. That's a danger in having the line judge wind in this.
You say that, Corey?
Not to that degree. I mean, if it's something that the way I say to the clock operator, if you know the clock should be running and our referee hasn't given a signal, look to the field judge or side judge, and we'll be in the back giving a big signal. So yes, there is that instruction, but it wouldn't.
Your line judge doesn't get in on that either?
No, that we changed that 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, interesting. Well, good.
So the other thing, and Tony, really good observation in the chat. Side judge grabbed the ball, relayed it to the umpire, who relays it to the center judge. This is a good point for the umpire just to run the football in and spot it. And again, talk about one ball mechanics. Center judge, stay back, allow the umpire just to spot this, because this is all the process. Like we said, this is an official's timeout. If we're ruling this guy as a catch inbounds for a first down, this is an official's timeout by rule.
Right.
Let's get the ball down. We don't need this ball relay. I just think that kind of makes things more hectic. You guys see what I'm saying? And so I think if the umpire would just run this in, obviously the center judge was ready to catch this ball and it all kind of worked out in terms of the spot, but it would just flow a little better if the umpire simply just runs this football in. We're working one ball mechanics. He sets it down, looks at the referee points him off, and then eventually winds the clock, hopefully either at a certain gauge on the play clock or once they snap the ball.
Well, this is a dangerous toss, too. I mean, I don't care that it looks so easy and it's only 5 yards.
I'm playing the result.
This is a dangerous toss.
I'm playing the result. I mean, and this isn't stalling. They're trying to be as efficient as they can, but it's much better. Our odds are better to complete this in a precise and fundamental way if the umpire just runs the football in.
Okay, so let's go back. We get the communication. Headline judge says, okay, kill the clock, and then he's communicating inbounds. We're gonna wind it. As a referee, you're running and trying to get the quarterback's attention, Brandon. You're telling him we're gonna wind this clock up.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're gonna wind this clock back up. Then you're going to hopefully the side judge is going to hurry up and get back to his position, because we need people in position, but we're not going to stand forever and just hold the ball. And then, while people get in position, we all need to be ready to get in position. This is the last play of the game. Come on.
Good job by the play clock operator. He ran the play clock. This is excellent.
Yes. Okay. Now we can see the game clock is running and the center judge he's literally touching players.
Right.
That clock started before his hand was even off the football.
Yeah.
Is that too soon, Brandon? How would you like to wind this clock up?
I think here, again, this official's timeout based on time, based on situation in the game, right here, we're going to extend it a little bit. I mean, we're just going to extend it. Get the center judge out of there.
Yeah.
And if the offense is executing in terms of getting up to the line, then by rule, they really earn the right to be able to snap the ball. Now, they've got to be really good. Don't you agree? I mean, they got to be organized.
Sure.
They got to get everybody up and set. And then if they do, they're going to get this snap off. Culture of the game. That's what everybody wants. That's really what everybody wants in this situation, which is kind of how we've been coached and trained. It's taken, these are hard. I mean, these are really hard, but we just got to settle in and be a little bit more patient with this clock, get the center judge out of there, realize that we're set. And now once they snap it, pretty much the clock starts.
Yes. So hopefully the center judge would have communicated in pregame that, once I'm out of there, you can snap the ball. Hopefully the quarterback understands that. Yeah. Hopefully you've already told the quarterback, I'm going to wind the clock when I blow the whistle. Hopefully the quarterback understands that
I'm
now.
not blowing the whistle. Are you blowing
Exactly. But now he can snap the ball, and hopefully what we will see. Yes, I'm sorry, Brandon. Let me go back. Yeah, because I misspoke there. We're not blowing the whistle here because this is a first down inbounds. We're not blowing a whistle, but we are winding the clock once the ball is ready for play. And I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing it. I misspoke on that. So we're not blowing the whistle, but we are winding the clock. So hopefully the quarterback understands that. Now the center judge is out the way. This would probably be the earliest I would even consider winding the clock, but I probably wouldn't even be winding it yet because I'm going to let the quarterback snap the ball. They're all ready to go. Let's let him snap the ball, then we'll wind the clock.
Yes.
But we're not going to delay that much. Look, it's 33 seconds on the play clock, 34, 35, and we've already ended the game. That's probably a little too fast.
Yeah. That's why the play clock is such a good gauge here. We get the ball down. God, we did 3 relays, 2 relays. 3 officials touched the ball. We just got to relax. If the offense can get up, we're going to wind it at about 32. But for sure, once the center judge kind of clears,
exactly.
The signal to the offense that they can snap it is the center judge clearing.
Yes.
That's standard throughout the whole game. That doesn't change here.
That's right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of opinions basically. There's a lot of opinions that say, is it fair to the defense that they get to snap this ball? I mean, if the defense doesn't want them to snap the ball, then don't let them get a first down. Right. I mean, gosh, that's just by rule. There's an official's timeout for a first down. It's a little bit extended here. We get everybody in position. The play clock gets down to 32, 31, 30. Okay, if they can snap it within that time, then they've earned the right to get this playoff.
Right. But we can't. I don't think it's fair to the offense to run the clock when we're really telling them right here, you can't snap this ball because the center judge has not cleared. So we're telling the offense, you can't snap the ball yet, but then we're going to turn around and wind the clock and just use up all of the time. I don't think that's necessarily fair to the offense.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We go to zeros. What's reviewable now? Let's talk about that. What is reviewable on this play?
Well,
because we have zeros. Remember, we talked about that, right?
Right. Yeah. So now a lot of things are reviewable.
Catch,
no catch is reviewable.
Okay, catch, no catch.
Whether the runner was actually down out of bounds with time left on the clock is reviewable because we know that would create a stopped clock that would actually start on the next snap. So we can reset and go back to that.
What about time when the ball was dead? Is that reviewable?
Time when the ball is dead.
Yes,
because we went to 0 and the clock is dead by rule for a first down in bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that if the clock the clock did expire. So the mechanics in the booth, this is very important. The mechanics in the booth they're going to wait. If this is a play to stop, they're going to wait to see if the offense can get a snap off.
Correct.
And if the offense can get a snap off with time, then they page and we honor that stoppage. Okay, if the offense can't get the snap off, then they simply just stop the game after the clock goes to 0. That's how that works.
Say that again. If the offense can get a snap off, then they page. What would they be stopping the game to review in the
everything that we just talked about?
Yeah.
Catch, no catch.
Because we could have an incomplete pass.
Right. Really, in that case, it would more be catch, no catch because then the clock wouldn't have expired.
Good. That's what I want to make sure we understand. We wouldn't be stopping the game to say, oh, well, he was really out of bounds. We wouldn't be stopping the game to say that because that doesn't make any sense.
No, because the clock didn't expire in that case.
Right.
Yep.
And the team got another snap off anyway.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So the replay official mechanically is waiting to see right here. Okay, are they going to get it off? And if they do get it off, now I'm going to page. And we're going to honor that. We have to be situationally aware that I know the page might be a little bit late, whatever. We know that that's going to happen. This is a reviewable play, catch, no catch. So if they page us, we're stopping the game. If they didn't get the snap off, we're going to page anyway.
Right. All right. Let me go back, Brandon. So let's say is from the catch, no catch perspective, we talking replay. If there is because we see a little bit of smoke, we see the ball on the ground at the end of the play. So that's some smoke. But if we don't have another view that shows us anything, are we going to stop? Should we stop the game before this team gets the snap off. If it looks like they're going to get a snap, like right here, let's say they're going to get a snap off, and then we don't really have anything from the previous play. Are we going to stop the game to say, wait a minute, that was incomplete pass?
Yes, that's the purpose of that mechanic. So if they got the snap off, if the snap is imminent with time on the clock, and I know there's a little bit of a window there that's like sounds like assumption, but that's just the mechanic. So if the snap is imminent and there's still time on the clock, page the field if you can't confirm the catch. Right. Because they got the snap off. I mean, they got the snap off. So we're not creating a competitive disadvantage. Even if we come up with ruling on the field stands for a catch, the offense now, and the clock is going to go on the ready out of that stands review. Right. But the offense is going to have every opportunity to get that next snap off, even if the ruling on the field stands. Obviously, if we reverse to incomplete, well, then in this case, it was fourth down. So it'd be a turnover down. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be why you really do need to stop this play. If you couldn't have confirmed the catch.
Right.
Yeah.
This is tough. This is tough.
Oh, everything is going right here. I mean,
there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I want to hear you say it again, because this is really tough and a lot to think about. It is 4th and 1. The ruling on the field appears to be a catch for a first down inbounds. We have some kind of smoke because the ball is bouncing on the ground at the end of the play. We don't know whether it's a catch or not. We're feverishly looking for views. We don't have any views. Time is still remaining. At this point in time, we see the offense is going to get a snap off, ignore the actual real clock that's at 0. We're going to pretend it's still at 2. We haven't wound it yet. The ball is snapped. What you're saying now is we're going to say, stop the game, stop the game.
Stop the game, and there would be time on the clock. Now, I know the clock operator is going to let the clock go to 0.
Sure.
But that doesn't matter.
That's irrelevant.
We are stopping the game with time. And so mechanically in the booth, that's why we have a 2-person booth. The communicator has eyes on the field. They're approaching the line. The ball's down.
Yes.
Snap. There's time left. Stop the game. And then he's on the 020. We're hitting the pagers. We got all these redundancies going on.
Right.
Now, if they don't get the snap off, the communicator's saying they're approaching the line. Okay, the referee has started the clock. 1, 0. They didn't get it off. Stop the game. I mean, we're stopping the game either way. If in fact, now maybe this replay official had confirmed the catch. I don't know.
Right.
But if you didn't, what we're saying is in the scenario, you didn't confirm the catch. That's your, what am I saying? That's like A or B, right? Situation A or situation B is all you have in the replay booth.
Right.
If they get the snap off, let me say this, if the snap is imminent, you stop the game and that play doesn't count. If they don't get the snap off, you stop the game at 0.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because if they don't get the play off, then what we need to determine is, was the player out of bounds when he caught the pass, when he was down by rule, or was he down by rule inbounds or out of bounds?
Yeah. Now,
because we don't care about the catch at that point. If the game clock is at 0, we don't care about the catch because it was 4th down.
Only because it was 4th down.
Correct.
If it was 3rd, 2nd, or 1st, we care because incomplete pass, you reset the clock to what it was when the ball hit the ground. You go back to the previous spot and it's the next down and they get another play.
Right.
So that's why, you got to be situationally aware. And this is crazy.
This is a really, really, really good play from the replay perspective, because much to think about.
And the field perspective of communicating. Yeah. How does this feel, catch, no catch to you, Daniel? I mean,
I mean, Tuta screen share is doing its typical thing, but it's
whoa.
It's awfully fast. I mean, just watching it on the field, I think, or on the live, kind of just live action. I mean, I think go ahead and let it play. Are we letting it play?
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were going back to it. Okay, you insulted me, so I was really about to just turn my screen share off. Is really what I was going to do.
I didn't mean it as an insult, man. I'm sorry if it came off that way.
It was received as an insult. Just so you know, to be clear.
I mean, I think it's a receiver who's going to the ground, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's really kind of where it's going to land. Is, do we think he's going to the ground or is he upright? To me, he's pretty clearly going to the ground. From the angles that we've seen tonight, there's really nothing to say either way, but it looks like he's going to the ground. I have a hard time believing he survived that process.
Unless he's reaching for the ball for the sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think.
That's a good point, Corey.
Which we can see his right arm appears to show that the ball is really in his midsection and not reached out.
Yeah, but that's a really good point. That if he's going to the ground, if he reaches out, that'd be our second act, and then the process would be over.
And if he gets to the ground with the ball still in his control, and then it's ripped out by the defense,
that too.
You know, that could have easily happened here. I don't know. I feel like there was another angle that maybe suggested that, but it's all kind of maybe.
Yeah. I think the takeaways for us as we look through this, and okay, what are we going to do in this situation? From the on-field perspective first for referees is if this is a catch for a first down, we really want the offense to get this first down snap off. Like we want that to happen, given obviously
they're
we're not
organized.
speaking in absolutes, right? If they're organized and they're doing their job, we really want to let them get this play off. And then from the replay perspective, I mean, it's so layered, like we can go on and on, but it's what you guys talked about is just understanding the different circumstances, being situationally aware and prepared to do what you need to do either way. So this is a really good play, really good play.
You know, going back to the first play from this game, had we been able to review that, Coastal Carolina wouldn't have had that field goal. So Northern Illinois would only needed a field goal to send it to overtime.
Listen, Corey. When you're
so it is egregious.
If you're talking about a single point for a coach, it's egregious, right?
That's right.
Right. Game winning perspective. You know, if that was our standard, oh my 100%. Gosh, it's absolutely
egregious.
Absolutely, but fortunately, we have a rule book that doesn't always, coincide with that perspective. But yeah, absolutely. A field goal? Are you kidding me?
Right.
Some gamblers out there will tell you that a field goal is a really big deal. Not me.
It certainly can be.
Can be.
But yeah, win probability, all these different analytics that they're talking. It's just that's not what the rules are geared for, obviously.
Right.
Now, maybe they should be. I don't know. But
no,
not today. I hope not. I hope never.
No.
Let's stick to that egregious thing being what we explained.
Yeah. Man,
wow.
I got better tonight.
That's really good. If you're, this play, we'll have this play without all the jumpiness of the screen share that Daniel was alluding to.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. No, I was just doubling down on that. But we will have the play in its cut form. I mean, you guys use this play. We're all going to use this play, I hope. If there's a bowl crew, by the way, that's not using this play, what are you doing? I mean, what are you preparing for? Like, what are you looking at? The tackle being too far off the line? Give me a break. This is where the game happens. This is where officiating the game happens.
Yeah. And
it really tests how good we can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks again to Nate Black for joining us.
He was fantastic.
Absolutely.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so awesome.
I mean, it's not easy to have, idiots like Brandon questioning everything you do from a referee perspective.
Questioning.
It's really difficult. That's why I apologize to Nate for
the love of
Brandon.
No.
Really love having him. And then we had some end of the half discussions. I mean, golly, those plays from the end of the half, it really helps us prepare.
Same game.
Exactly.
You only have end of the half like twice a year, and these guys had it in the same game. Right. The odds of stuff like that happening to us are so slim. Like we've had those discussions, right? Like, nothing really ever happens, and then these guys have two amazing situations that will make them better forever. At least I hope. I mean, and look, whatever happened, but. Now we've experienced that. That's what it's all about. Like layer and add to your playbook of experience. And that this crew is so fortunate to now have those experiences and man, just grow off that. Right, wrong, and different. Whatever evaluate it as. I don't really care, but grow off that, because the next time it happens, boom, nail it.
Well, the rest of us should be growing off of it too, because
Well, amen to that.
exactly.
But I'm just saying it's accelerated growth when you are actually having it happen to you.
Right.
But yes, we got to all use these and study just what we're doing.
You got to.
Yeah.
You got to. Yep. So Corey, look, I hope you don't get canceled for the second year in a row,
Yeah,
Mr. Corey
man.
Luxner. It's
Yeah.
not looking good for you, but
No, it's not looking good for me. But it's there's places I could be on December 31st where I know some people. So
Hey,
There you
gotta
go.
have faith. Gotta
Yeah.
have faith.
I
Yep.
think you're fine. It's gonna.
You're fine.
it's a little bit further. It's a few days further out than it was last year. So maybe we got that going for us.
yeah. Well, hopefully you have a great time in the bowl game. Have a great one. Knock 'em dead.
Yes, everybody, knock 'em dead. Thanks so much. Great plays.
Wait
Jeez.
a second. Are we not? We got next Tuesday before
We
the-
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I'm
Tuesday
sorry.
the 28th. So we need everybody to have a Merry Christmas.
Yep.
We know holidays are busy. These are always available on demand in the portal, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy
Enjoy
holidays.
your families. Best to all. Thank you, guys.
And to all a good night.
Good night.